morning, everyone. I hope I'm being heard loud and clear. Good morning, Mr. Omosebi. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning. Sorry.
Good morning. Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Good morning. Thanks for joining another edition of the Action Connect series. We started a bit late today, about 10 minutes later, because we wanted to allow other participants to join. Some are still going to join in the course of the session, but we just wanted to have a good number of people join before start. Hopefully they'll session. For those that are just joining, my name is Adifisaya Akisanya. I am the Head Marketing Communications at Action Microfinance Bank, and I'd like to welcome everyone to another edition of the Action Connect series. So at Action, we usually have different sessions where we talk about, we discuss topical issues, and we bring in key experts to share their knowledge and respect to the audience. Today, we will be bringing in none other than Mr. Kayode Omosebi to discuss green skills for youth towards a sustainable world. If this is your first time joining, I think we'll put up 4 questions later in the day so we can have more of your information. You can also please ensure that you're following the bank on all social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We do have more exclusive sessions and events this session. Housekeeping rules is we would dive right into the session, and then we ask. I've seen a couple of questions. Some are questions in the box. So just a second. So what we'll do is that we'll go right into the session with Kayode Omosebi, and then after we'll take the Q&A session, so you can drop your comments and questions. And also, if you need any other recommendations, if you're also a current customer of the bank and you have other issues that you want us to resolve, please also share during the Q&A session. But I think I'll just like to address. I think I have one in the Q&A box here. Can your bank borrow us money? Yes, but the Action Microfinance Bank has an array of products and services that are tailored to business owners and entrepreneurs across Nigeria. So what you can do is share your details with us directly, and then we can have one of our contact center agents contact you and then understand the type of thing that you need, and then they would provide any additional support. Thank you very much, Ibuko. So without further ado, I think we'll just go right into the session. I don't know if I can have Mr. Omosebi's profile off so we can just quickly get right into it so we don't waste so much time. Okay, thank you very much. So Mr. Omosebi is an entrepreneur, serial investor, seasoned investment banker, and a highly rated analyst. He leverages his financial investment capabilities, sound economic analysis, and social resources into project or engagement. He's a polymath with a wealth of experience and skill set required by major corporation and society. He brings his educational and professional knowledge to fore in contributing his quota to the sustainable development of Africa. It is his belief that private sector development is a key enabler of economic and social wealth creation in Africa. Thanks so much, Kayode Omosebi, for joining us. We're really excited to have you on the session. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Great.
I need to put on my video.
Yes, great. Now I can see your face. Perfect. All right. So, if that's fine with you, you can just dive right into the question. Is that all right with you?
Yes, that's fine. That's fine with me.
Okay, great. All right. So, I think you're a serial entrepreneur because I know you're the CEO of Scrap Bank, which we're focusing on today. You also manage other businesses, right? But what actually inspired you to be involved? Because I think your background is also in economics. So what actually inspired you to become involved in sustainability, and waste recycling?
Okay, so it's a story of two sides. First is from a let me just put the story. So I got into recycling as an investment banker, helped a friend to raise money for doing investment banking. Things didn't work out well, and then I had to take it over to run. And then from there, I found it more interesting. As against, I mean, my investors wanted us to sell everything and go, but I bought it and paid them. But then it was also interesting the fact that I mean, you can make money and everybody was also making money, because I realized that many businessmen or many businesses in Nigeria don't align with the economy where you're making money, but the community is suffering, or you're making money and some people are not are suffering. But recycling gives you that all-round interest where you as a businessman are making money, you are making putting food on the table for a lot of families. The community where you're operating is also gaining wealth because you're reducing pollution and coal. So that satisfaction in the fact that I mean, helping a community, helping employees, helping people across the value chain, just makes me happy. To me, it's one of my most, I'll call it most satisfying business for me. Because I mean, once you take 1 kg off the road, off the ground, you are also reducing pollution. You're making money for someone who is picking it. You're making for someone who's producing it. You're making for workers who are recycling it. And you're also making money for those that are using it. So it's all around, and that's why I like the business, and that's what kept me there, and that's why I'm still there today.
Oh, wow, quite interesting. Thank you. So for Scrap Bank, what specific waste products do you focus on recycling?
Okay, so we focus on three waste products. There's PET. PET is just an example. Your bottles, right? So, and you have different colors. You have the white, the blue, the green, depending on the drinks you buy. Then we do cartons and cardboard, which is what you use for your packaging materials.
Or
Almost everything
boxes,
you
like
buy,
moving
like
boxes?
pizza and coke. Yeah, moving boxes. You know the pizza boxes. When you buy those pizza
Yes.
boxes, the packed with takeaway packs and cool, right? So that's one. Then we do cans, like drink cans, alcoholic and non-alcoholic canned drinks, right? So those are our three major production lines for now.
Okay. And was there a specific reason why you decided to just focus on this on those materials?
Yeah, two sides. One, they were when we started. I mean, we're not the very rich guys, so they were less capital intensive. I mean, if you are doing metal, it's very expensive because you have to buy heavy trucks and you need me because I'm sure when you see all this bookies who carry metals and are paying you 5,000, 10,000. I mean, that's a whole lot of money if you have to buy a truckload. Maybe you'll be spending about 50 million naira or thereabout. So it was less capital intensive, one. Two is that it also was more impactful because in Lagos today, let me give you an example. Lagosians will spend about 300 billion to 400 billion on drinks annually. And when you look at that, there's a whole lot of deposits of these recyclable materials out there. And if you look at PET cans, they don't die. I mean, 21 years, 100 years, they're still useful. Sometimes we go to the beach side and you just pack almost 1 ton, 3 tons of PET bottles and cans. So I looked at less capital intensive, more impactful, and the one with great potential, which is more sustainable in terms of helping the community. And that's why we focus on those three commodities.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. So what are some so what can you take us through your recycling process? Well, not the technical bit, of course, but at least just because you started by saying that you pick this item. So what do you then do with this? Can you take us through this recycling process?
Okay, so I will explain. So we don't we work with different acts across the line. I mean, if you're walking on the street or you go anywhere, you're going to see quite a bit of either women or men who are picking bottles and co, and you see them keeping them in their side. So we have quite a bit of them who are like under our umbrella. They have cards. Our truck goes there, pick from them. Um, records what they pick, and then pay them later on. When we pick that, it goes to our aggregation center. Aggregation center is where they sort it. So you separate the different waste, and then you also remove the things that are not useful, like the labels in it. The good thing with every waste is that every value, if you look at the PET bottles, for example, the cover, the rings have another value, is a different production line. So they separate, they sort, and when it's sorted, is now moved into the recycling factory, where you recycle each of the materials that you moved. After recycling, it's packaged into a storage facility, where it's brought, because we have different factories. We have in Lagos Island, we have somewhere around Ibejuleki, we have somewhere around Igondo, we have somewhere around Badore. So we bring everything together into a storage center. And from that storage center is really where the sales is. So buyers, we go to developer to buyers, or we sell, buyers come to pick from us. And then sometimes, which we just started, we export these materials. We are not at the end level, because even what people we sell to still do another level of recycling, but there's a whole lot of value for it. So for pets, for example, your bags, your mattresses, your pillows, your what do you call this thing again? Your covers are being made from that. For cartons and co, they still use it to produce cartons. Sometimes they also use it to produce your tissue paper, your serviettes, and quite a bit of materials along that line. For cans, they use it back to make cans, so cans to cans. You also have those guys who use it for like metal tin production. So even your phone cases and co are made from that. So there's a whole lot of buyers across the value chain. There's also the guys who use it for production. So a typical example would be any factory who uses coal. A coal-powered factory will use PET as its own fuel. So they buy it and use it to burn the coal, which they use to produce. So we have different buyers across the line. I mean, you don't have any limitation of who's going to buy from you. So that's the production line from start to finish. It starts from collection, which is actually the hardest work in recycling. Before you then go into the typical manufacturing, that's sorting, cleaning, and production. Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Thanks so much, Kayode. Um, can you share some of your success stories with us? Because I mean, in fact, as you're discussing, it seems very interesting to me. And then if you could share some specific stories that you're very proud of in terms of achievements.
Okay, so I'll speak to the impact stories really. We started a
Mhm.
model in Lagos Island. Lagos Island, where I would say one of the biggest recycling factory there. I mean, we would dominate the market. And what we did there was, first of all, we understood that the women were the biggest waste collectors there. And how did we decide to work with them? I mean, women had their key obligations. Some needed to buy stock for their shops, needed to pay their children's school fees, they needed to pay some stuff. So what we did was we started offering loans, and they pay back with waste, right? That's what we do. So when it's beginning of the term, we give them money for the school fees. They could pay back with waste as well as they're supplying. We're recording. Salah period, for
You're
example, if we need to
deducting
buy
from
meat and pay.
the loan amount.
Yes, we'll be deducting from the loan amount. And we realized that we've been able to bring them together. And that's how we've been able to build a very strong, high margin collection business in Lagos Island. And we've now started to replicate that model across board. What we also do in Ibejuleki, there are some small scale libraries that they have there. I mean, it's a pay to use library. So we partner where students, if you bring in a bag of waste, you will get access to the library and you can read and use the internet and co. And so those stories have helped us in going down into the value chain. And then, because of that, we've been able to build a very good collection business in Lagos Island and also in Bejuleki with those impacts that we've created for them. Aside from that, we try to understand their needs and we empower. So if you're giving us, if you are a collector, and the more collection you have, the more points you have. And when you get to a particular point, you become a partner where we can invest in you by setting you up with a collection center. So that means that every other person starts to supply to you. And then for everybody who comes to supply to you, you earn about 10 to 20 naira per kg on their supply, apart from what they pay them. So that way you become a bigger distributor. And we've realized that even people who were doing collections with us on the side, and with the impact we've made, it's now become their major business. And whatever they are doing now is now like the side also. So that's how we built a model, because I mean you can't be the collection. You can't have a collection capacity across board. I can't hire people to collect from me everywhere I go to. But once you have a good model where you can bring in the collectors who are actually they are the most important in the chain, but they are also the most underserved. And so we've tried to empower them and serve them properly. And they've been a very big determinant for the success of our business so far till today.
Oh, interesting. That's really interesting. I mean, I love the impact stories of the mothers or parents that cannot afford to pay for the children's school fees, but at least there's a structure where there's that peace of mind that the children can still go to school and then they can pay through that waste collection. That's really, really amazing. Well done. What are some of the challenges that you've experienced? How long have you actually been running the scrap bank, and what are some of the challenges that you've encountered?
All right, we've been running for 3 years, 3.5. We started from
Oh,
the bottom. I always like to say that we were not even a recycler, we were a collector, right? When we started, and we built our capacity that way. The challenges, first one, which every Nigerian business will face is, I mean, today wasn't planned. There was a time
what's
last year.
inflation?
Yeah, there was a time last year, February, where diesel went from 200 to 800. It wasn't planned. So we've always been working around it. And that's why I always say that when doing business, it's always important to be strategic so that you are defensive to the challenges that you cannot control, right? So don't just wake up and start something, but ensure that you build a model that works. But now, in terms of operations, the key challenge we faced is really the fact that today recycling business is when you look at the workforce, 80% is informal, right? You have people that I don't know the word illiterate, can't read and write or can't speak certain English and co. And you need to find a way to work with them. I would use the example. I would say recycling has made me more, if I would use it, call it more streetwise, because it just makes you understand that your strength in managing people, it's actually more important than how smart you are. And so those are challenges I've faced, and we've been able to overcome it by managing people well, understanding people well, and making people feel important, right? Depending on no matter what their education level is or what their wealth level is, as long as you can make them feel important, you can manage them, you can get them involved. You realize that people are not as wicked. You know, people will say doing business in Nigeria is hard. People are weird. People are who are thieves. I think that people are not that wicked, or people are not that mean if you also show that you care about them and get them involved. Communication is important. So it was a big challenge, and with learning process from people that have been in it and how they've been able to do it, I think we've done it well. We have loyal workers, loyal customers. A lot of our workers have been there for years, and they're still there. A lot of work customers that we deal with, collectors, the bookies and the collector women. I mean, they help us. They sometimes they even know our challenges, and they're ready to help us along the line. And it took a lot of investment in people, knowledge, discussion. We sometimes go to them and even report our business to them, just like we report to an investor. This is what we've done this year. This is what we plan to do. We also have this session where we speak to them and understand their needs and how we can serve them better. And so those constant investments has helped us to surmount that challenge, and it makes us strong because we know that ties always find a way around it. There's a time when they all came together and decided that they won't collect any of the money for 2 months, so that we can use that to get over some liquidity issues and co. And then we can start paying them back. So it's a whole lot, and I mean that's because of that investment and communication. So we've been able to solve that. And the other part, like I said before, Nigeria's problem, surmounting it just requires that you have to be strategic in terms of how you position your business so that you don't go with the tide, because sometimes they say Nigeria can make or mar you depending on where you are.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Kayode. So, I mean, it's very interesting listening to you, how you've been able to partner and connect with individuals and I'll say families in terms of sharing the model. But it'll be interesting to also understand how, or maybe learn on how you've been able to also partner with organizations as well.
Okay, so we've done that also well. I mean, that's part of my work is business development, looking for partnership. And I mean, the first thing I want before you can do that well, what we've had at the back of our mind is that we're not in business to compete. We're in business to collaborate or to cooperate. That's coming together and doing it because everybody can't do it all. And so because of that, we are flexible and we like to work with partners. I mean, it could be us coming together. We have even other, I don't want to call them competitors, other recyclers who work with us to sell so that we can be able to have a better bargaining power, to command a better price from the buyers. We've also had guys who work towards together where we can share assets so that we can reduce our cost of operations. We have guys who even just come to us to produce for them. So what we've just done is to create a flexible structure that accommodate partnerships. And so we have partnerships with retailers, and we have partnerships with our regulators. And when I mean regulators, you have in every state you have LOMA, you have PSP and co. And we have a very good relationship there. And then also our community. So everywhere we go to, the local government or the LCDA, we build a relationship by even setting up something like a collection center for them. Also creating a campaign or a project in partnership with them that also helps them. And then we also do that with community. We've not been to any area where I do not have the number of maybe the ballet or the oba or one of the high chiefs and also those people in the community. So we ensure that even in our workforce, we try to ensure that wherever we are positioned, at least 50% of that workforce are from that area. That's one. And then two is we always find a way to give back to them and understand what they need. And that keeps us well. You mean once you have that with you, you don't have security problems. You have people that understand you, know for you, and will even be your marketer because they will tell people about what you do. So partnership collaboration has been a very big one for us, and it's even taking us beyond our businesses. It has also helped us with visibility to investors, to grant providers, to financial institutions and co. Because we've been open and flexible in terms of how we accommodate different parties to make it work.
Oh, thank you. Very, very interesting. I think maybe I should take a break and see if we have, maybe we can take one or two questions. So the audience, if you have one or two questions that you would like to ask, please send it to, you can drop it in the chat box or also in the Q&A chat box as well. Is a bit different. So the chat box, the general chat box or the Q&A, and then we'll pick up questions. Thank you very much. So just give me like a few seconds for some of those questions to drop. Thank you. Just questions. I think I already have questions that are that are pertaining to Action itself in terms of the loan that we give out. I've spoken to that. So if there's a specific question for today's speaker, if you just drop that and we will address it. Thank you. Because it's a very short session, so we don't waste any more time. All right, thank you. So Kayode, so your work in sustainability and recycling, you sound very passionate and excited about it, and it's very refreshing to see, especially in this new sensation. So how you feel your engagement or your passion in this project has influenced or impacted your life?
Well, yeah. I mean, first thing is I've become more understanding and considerate to everyone. You being an investment banker, I mean, you've always been working with I don't want to call it rich people, but people that have money or that owed the money, right? So
High net
you might
worth
not see,
individuals.
yeah, yeah, you might not see what is happening on the street. So if there's anything that recycling and sustainability has done to me is I'm just more considerate. I understand how things impact on everybody. I can see how a 1 naira change can impact on people, right? So it just makes you understand the quality of life. Understanding that it's not just about me being rich. I mean, like you say, quote, if you are the if the day the if you're looking for if you're looking to make money without considering your neighbor, one day your neighbor will become your enemy and a threat to you, right? So it just makes you understand that everybody has to go together. And I mean, that's what it has really done for me, my thinking and capacity on seeing how everything works. That's what recycling has done for me.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Kayode. Very interesting. So this session, it's special. It's actually for the celebration of International Youth Day. So before we move into the proper Q&A session, what advice or recommendation would you share with individuals that are looking into moving into sustainability and recycling generally?
Okay, my advice, I would strip it into two. One is a more high level, and two is more in terms of the business. High level is because
Mm-hmm.
I see it every time. As youths, we need to understand delayed gratification. I mean, you cannot sow what you do not reap. You can't blow immediately, because people rush to want to blow, and they are focused on what people see rather than what they are building. And what I tell people is that if you keep focusing on what people see rather than what you're building, sometimes you would you in fact you start to buy that attention rather than the content you have, and you don't want to have a business that has more noise than what and the value it costs. So understand that
Also,
you have to, yeah, take it easy, build something that works, right? And I mean, the universe will look for you or praise you. Secondly is you have to be strategic. Don't wake up and go into business because everybody is doing it. Have your SWOT analysis, understand your strengths and your weaknesses. Very important. Understand if you have money. Some people can, I mean, if you come into a business with a lot of cash, right? How you will play will be different from somebody who has limited cash, right? So you need to understand what you're coming with, what value you're bringing to the table, and use that to set up your business model. There are different approaches to recycling. Some people are just manufacturers, some people are collectors, some people are aggregators, some people are producers, right? Some people are transporters, and everybody is making money in the thing, right? You come in based on where your skill is, and once you are in, then you can start to build your base along the value chain. So always have that business model. On the business side is I think I've said try to be more structured and a business model that works. Also ensure that your strategy is defensive to Nigeria's economy, right? And don't look to money, right? Also be open to collaborations. The youth today, there's so many that collaborate. Somebody can just turn your enemy because he's doing something similar to you. But I don't advise anybody to see it that way. If somebody is doing something similar to you, obviously he has something different from what you are doing. Rather than look at him as a competitor, see how you guys can work together and to create a book value. I mean, I don't want to have 100% of a billion. I prefer to have 10% of a trillion, right? Because that's bigger in terms of picture. So be open to collaborations, open to partnerships, and also have that open mindset, and you realize that you will do it better. Focus on content, drive value, ensure that your business is well grounded, and you realize that the universe will look for you. So don't be quick to blow. Understand that you have to sow before you reap. And trust me, if you have all those at the back of your mind, you do fine in business, even outside of recycling, anything you do.
thank you very much. Thank you. So we'll just move quickly into the Q&A session. So I'll start from the Q&A and move to the chat. So there's a question for, can your bank borrow us money? Yes, we can. I'd advise that you should please share your direct details. The contact center team will reach out to you and understand your business, and then they can prefer different products for you. Is there a certificate for this webinar? We haven't thought Tanemo Seka, and then we can review that. Thank you very much. So I think I'll start from the top. What are the plans? So this is for the speaker. What are the plans of Scrap Bank, organization like yours, to partner organizations and the government on the use of color coding waste? So I think this is a bit specific, because I know you have talked to us about how you've been able to collaborate with individuals, community leaders, and even regulators. But I think this is very specific in terms of what are the plans of the organization to partner with regulators and maybe other key stakeholders on the use of color coding waste disposal. Take that.
Okay, yeah. So what we do on that side is advocacy and engagement. If anyone is into recycling, yeah, we know there's a body called FIBRA. It's a body where all the food and beverage manufacturers, so the likes of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Unilever, are all part of that body. And what they do is to support sustainability and recycling. So the Association of Recyclers, which we are a proud member, engages with that body regularly, and also involves regulators to see how we can ensure that this thing is done. Because when it comes to sustainable recycling and what is good for everybody, it requires more of a cultural mindset, a change in people's understanding to things. I mean, for example, the reason why we deal with collectors today is also the fact that most people don't even separate their waste in their house. So is when you throw it in your dustbin, somebody goes there and does that work for you. But the moment people can start to separate, then we might not. You move away from collectors to picking from home directly, even though that is sometimes more expensive. So we do advocacy and engagement every time, and also look at the trend and see how we can also support that. So for us on our own side is areas where we have collection centers. We have color coding waste disposal. We tell you, we put the colors there. We also do school engagement. We go to schools and teach them how to recycle and what are the different box and names and colors and stuff you use to recycle. And that's what we do. And everybody has to play their part. If we all do our part well, I think over time it will be a better industry and mindset for recycling.
Thank you very much. What aspect of recycling is profitable? That's another question.
Yeah, every aspect is profitable. I can tell you, depending on where you are. If I pick up waste from your house today,
Uh-huh.
even if it's free or not free, depending on my transportation, if I have to sell it to, if you come and bring it to scrap bank to sell, you will still make money, even if it's 20% on it. So it's a good value chain. Either you are collecting, you are aggregating, you are cleaning, you are transporting, right? You make money. Some people have trucks and all they do is to just help you to pick and deliver, and they are making money from it. So it's as long as you are in the value chain, every aspect is profitable. It now depends on your own SWOT. What can you afford? What can you start with, right? And where do you have a strong point in? And that tells you how best you can go into it.
Thank you. So I think it's a follow-up question from the first one, that what sector is more profitable? Does the recycling sector require huge costs to operate? So I'm guessing from John Festus, I'm thinking this would be like entry. How does it, is it capital intensive to
Yeah. So
operate? I think that's what the
it
person
still
is
boils
asking.
down to where you want to play, right? For example, if you have a big space of land in your area and you have 1 million naira to buy waste from collectors, you're already in recycling business. That's it. Now, if you want to go for that value, that might be more expensive because you might have to then buy trucks or buy machines to produce. And if you get bigger, then you need even more money to buy waste from those collectors. So it depends on where you want to play. You can start small if you don't have that resources, and if you have the resources, you can start big. If you go to the best recyclers in Nigeria are more expatriates, international companies, Chinese and co. Those ones have the muscle, so they don't need to start from collectors. They don't even bother themselves with a whole lot part of the value chain. They set up a big plant and from everybody they can buy from and produce and take it to China, right? So if you have funds, you can start in different side of the value chain, but just ensure that you are building something that is more sustainable, right? Rather than just being an opportunist in recycling, really. So I always say that it goes back to my point: understand your SWOT, and use that to enter into the industry, and you would be profitable over time.
Okay, thank you very much, Kayode. What is a foreign skill you can recommend and highly guarantee considering the current economic factor? So I think this is like the quickest or most impactful skill that is required to thrive in this in that market. I'm hoping that captures the question well.
Yeah, okay. The truth is, the skill to make it in anywhere in the world is still the same here. You have to have social skill, right, and leadership skill. That's it. No matter where you are in the business, even if you are a picker or whatever it is, social skill really. You can't go wrong if you know how to manage people, right? So whether it's growing scale, so just have a good way to manage people, and also have that leadership skill to know how to push and drive people. That's it. You don't need to be a technical person to be able to have a highly guaranteed income in today's economy. Really.
Thank you. Someone also asked for the location for Square Bank. I know you had mentioned Lagos Island and Ibeju. Like, are just those the two locations?
No, so we have Lagos Island, Lewis Street. If you go to Lewis Street in Surah, it's quite known there. We're also in Bugije, that's after Lakawe, Auto Nation. We have a center too in Badore. We have one in Egbe, Ikoto Egbe, right, on the off the road, and then we're somewhere in Isenyo Kyogun. That's also where we operate. And then we do have partner locations. So if you go to our website, scrapbank.africa, it shows our locations and addresses, and also then shows location and addresses of our partners across board. Right.
Okay, so I think you've already talked about someone asked for location, and then how can I become a collector registered under the organization? So I think the collector would definitely speak to someone that would want to drop off the recycled items.
Yeah, so you can reach out to us depending on the size. But then we also work with
Okay.
a very good technology partner. If you go and check a company called Packham, Packham is an app. So that makes you make money from waste. You can sign up on the app. When you have waste in your house, you can load it on Packham, and Packham will connect you to the closest collector around you who will pick it up, and you get paid on the spot. Into the business. So that's a technology platform that we work well with. Aside from the also bigger player, you can either also still connect on Packham, because Packham also allows for aggregators and co to deal with. Because we might not be in everywhere, and we all know what transportation is like today. I will not come to maybe your house that is 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers to pick one bag of bottles, right? So what Packham will do for you is to connect you to the closest person around you, and then we can come there to pick bigger size and to recycle or to sell your waste, even from your house, your shops, or anywhere you do business.
Thank you very much. We also have a feedback. Can you send the recorded session to us? Yes, we will. We will send to all the registered participants. So I hope you've registered. I think after the session, we'll just go ahead and send a copy to all the registered participants. I think that's all the questions. I'm not sure we have any other questions. But before we close, I've gotten a couple of feedback regarding the bank and how people can access funds or borrow money. The Action is a microfinance bank that's been empowering entrepreneurs for 16 years. And then we're on all social media handles. So if you could please reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you can send us a our contact request, and then we will engage you and provide you with any further information that you may need regarding assessing loan or borrowing loan, as some people have indicated. Thank you very much. So we'll also drop the details in the chat box so that we can also add a copy of it. Again, it's Action Microfinance Bank on any of the social media handles. So you can just drop us a DM and then we would reach out to you immediately. Thank you very much. I think I've answered all the questions. I'm not sure if there's still other questions. Maybe you can just give like a minute or two. If there are no other questions, then we can then go ahead to close the session. Thank you very much. Okay, so is there any contact center at Kaduna State? Do you have operation in Kaduna? Have you expanded to Kaduna? Because I know you mentioned Lagos. I think you have about 4 or 5 centers in Lagos then, or you're saying. What about Kaduna?
We don't, but we have partners in Kaduna. So, like I said, still the same thing is leverage on the technology called Packham to show you partners that are around your location, right? Which you can then deal with, and then we'll find a way to plug into that chain.
Okay, so thanks. Give the same thing. So someone's asking for another state, you could just check their location as advised, please. So we have a poll question that will come up very shortly. Thank you everyone for joining. We want to get your feedback in terms of how you heard about the session and how the session, do you think has been impactful? Is it, has it added value to you? Has it provided you the information that you need? So if I can have the poll questions up very quickly, please. Edison, thank you very much. So you can just check online as advice to check the nearest location of Spa Bank to you. Thank you. So we have the poll question up. I think it's about 5 questions. It's not that, yeah, just about 5 questions. So is this your first time attending the Action Connect series? Yes or no? How did you hear about the webinar? Did you hear through SMS, social media, or friend or colleague? Did you find the session insightful? Was it helpful? So we also want to know, did you find insight provided by the speaker to be very helpful? Did you find the session engaging and interactive? Thank you very much. So just, I think, okay, 6 questions. Thank you very much. So okay, so I have a feedback. Edison, if you just please send us, we have the social media handles and we have them up already. If you could, admin can drop them again. So please send us a DM on social media handles and then we'll get back to you. Thank you very much. I think it's been dropped again on Instagram, my Action MFB, on LinkedIn, and of course, Facebook, Action Microfinance Bank. Thank you very much. I think another question. Okay, I think we've taken that. I think we've taken all the questions. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Okay, there's another. I think something just dropped now. Let me see if I can read it. Okay. Okay, thank you, Kelvin. The session is helpful. Thank you, Action, for always being there through youth pain points. Other banks are too busy caring about money. Thank you, Action. Islamia Shari, yes, you did come in late. It's a very quick session, so we're actually rounding up. What we can do is for participants that registered, we will send out the recording to you. So you can just, at your own free time, listen to the session again. Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for joining. Kayode, I see your hand is up.
Yes, I wanted to add because I've been seeing questions of borrowing money, and I felt it's something I needed to say.
Okay.
For people who are listening, it is not when you need money that you engage with a financial institution like Action, right? In the course of your business, just ensure that you're always thinking about building a partnership with a financial institution so that when you need it, it will not be a problem. So simple things like having your records, your invoices, having a good business plan, ensuring that your records are well kept, ensuring that you have statements and not using your personal account to receive money or pay, helps you to get to that level. In fact, most times you are even better dealing with bank first, like Action, before you collect loan, open an account, right? Trade in that account, play in that account, and you realize that you will be able to borrow money. Because one thing with business is that people always think that once you want to start, you get money. But as you grow, opportunities will always come. Today you can get a contract that says, oh, I need to get 10 million worth of something, and you need to have a partner that in 2 days you can pull that money from at that point. But that can only happen with relationship, with constant profile of that. So you don't wait to build a relationship with an institution till when you need money. Do it at the start of your business. Know who you're partnering with from day one. You're dealing with Action, talk to them, open an account, run your business in that account. You even get to the right? Because most people do that thing where is when they need money, then they start looking for institutions to deal with. It's not a good way to build a business because you really cannot grow without a financial institution. You can't use all your money to grow. I mean, even Dangote's and Co never did it alone. So you need partners like that. So why? Because I see that question here and I said, let me put it to people so that we have it at the back of our mind when building businesses.
Thank you very much, Kayode. That's actually very, very helpful and spot on. Thanks very much. So I see another comment asking to get a copy of the recording, but you didn't register. You can please send us a DM. The bank social media handle has been dropped. We don't want you to share your emails or your personal details on here. Just send us a DM on any of the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, that you would like a copy of the recording, and then the team will send it out to you once they send it to the rest of the team. Thanks again, Kayode Omosebi. It's been an eye-opening session for me as well. I've been very excited, and whilst Action, we have different initiatives internally that are focused on sustainability, recycling. This also opens my mind to other business opportunities as well, and partnership that you've talked about. So thank you so much for taking time to join us. And I'm really happy to get some of the questions, feedback, and recommendations from the youth that are also joining, so thank you so much. We do hope that next time when we send out an invite, you would also come back to speak. Thank you very much. Is there any other thing you want to add, Omosebi, before we close? Thank you. Thanks everyone. Yes, I'm just trying to read some comments that are coming in.
Thank you to everyone thanks to Action for the invitation. I'm honored to be part of it, and thanks to everyone who listening to me. And I look forward to more sessions, not necessarily as a speaker, but also as a leader, to hear from other people. And I wish everyone a happy Youth Day and a great weekend.
Thank you very much, Kayode. Definitely, there'll be other partnering opportunities with Action. We'll take that discussion offline. So thanks, everyone. Don't forget to follow the bank on all social media. And if you still have any more information or clarification, send us a DM and then we'll get back to you. Thanks, everyone. Have a fantastic weekend. Thank you.
Traditional cap wey dey stand gidigba for head.
Give them.
You go sabi wetin e mean to carry matter for head 24/7. Just like how Action dey carry the matter of small business for head to help them fit make am. We get plenty loan packages wey dey easy to collect, and our savings account go help you grow your money bam bam. And if you be person wey no like stress, we get better digital platform wey you fit enjoy right from your domot. Make I no talk too much. Dial *572# now. Download Action mobile app or visit any of our branches wey dey near you. May we begin run things for you because we don dey do this thing for 14 years.
Action Microfinance Bank. My future is bright.
Ní tòótọ́, ṣé pé tí mo bá ṣí àkáǹtì pẹ̀lú Action wá máa